Helmut Kämpfe, Waffen-SS Major, Sturmbannführer. Kämpfe was born on 31st July 1909 in Jena, Thuringian, German Empire. He trained to be a typographer like his father, a owner of a printing works. After Hitler took power in 1933, he joined the German army, Heer, in 1934, where he rose to the rank of lieutenant. Heer was a new German army set up after the Nazis came to power in 1933. It was land forces component of the Wehrmacht. In 1939, he joined the SS and was transferred to the Waffen-SS. On June 22, 1941, Nazi Germany launched an invasion of the Soviet Union, Eastern Front, codenamed Operation Barbarossa. Germany's surprise attack against the Soviet Union marked a turning point in the history of World War II. The war on the Eastern Front became the largest military conflict in the history. Most horrific atrocities, highest casualties, mass deportations, starvation, disease, and massacres. Kämpfe was sent on the Eastern Front in Russia and was the commanding officer of the 3rd Battalion, 4th SS Panzergrenadier, the Führer Regiment of the Das Reich Division. Kämpfe was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross for his bravery and exemplary leadership during the Zhytomyr-Berdichev offensive in the winter of 1943-44. He was also one of only 631 men to be awarded the extremely rare Close Combat Clasp in gold. He was one of only 98 German soldiers awarded both the Knight's Cross of the Iron Cross and the Close Combat Clasp in gold. On September 1, 1943, he was promoted to Major, Sturmbannführer. In the spring of 1944, the Das Reich Division was withdrawn from Russia Eastern Front and sent to the south of France in preparation for the Allied invasion of occupied Europe. While in southern France, dozens of German soldiers were killed by the French resistance, Maquis. The Maquis were rural guerrilla bands of French resistance fighters, called Maquisards, during the Nazi occupation of France in World War II. The Maquis were highly active in that area, according to German intelligence reports. Because of these acts of sabotage, Kämpfe was ordered to begin operations against the French resistance Maquis. On June 9, 1944, Kämpfe was captured by a Maquis group, led by a Sergeant Jean Canot. Canot then handed him over to Georges Guingouin, a Maquis leader. The next day he was executed on the orders of Guingouin. When it was discovered that Kämpfe had been kidnapped, German troops began searching for Kämpfe in the surrounding area. Among these was a unit under the command of Sturmbannführer Adolf Diekmann, the commander of the 1st Battalion, 4th SS Panzergrenadier Regiment, and a close personal friend of Kämpfe. On 10th June, Diekmann was given information that Kämpfe had been captured by French resistance fighters in the Oradour-sur-Glane, a nearby village, and they were planning to execute Kämpfe. Based on this information, on the same day, Diekmann Battalion accidentally went to the nearby village of Oradour-sur-Glane, a similar village as Oradour-sur-Glane, which was not far away. Outside the village, they found a German field ambulance with the burned bodies of several German soldiers, the driver and passengers in the front seat, who were tied to the steering wheel with wire. Diekmann's battalion sealed off Oradour-sur-Glane and ordered everyone within to assemble in the village square to check their identity papers. Included 6 non-residents who were cycling through the village when the German unit arrived. The women and children were locked in the church. The men were led to 6 barns and sheds. The SS men then began shooting, aiming for their legs, and set the barns on fire. The women and children tried to escape through the doors and windows, only to be met with machine gun fire. 190 French men, 247 women, and 205 children died in the attack. According to Diekmann's superior, the massacre was an act outside of his orders, and Diekmann would have been court-martialed. Adolf Diekmann was charged over the killings. Diekmann said he found Kämpfe's handcuffed body inside a German field ambulance with the remains of other German soldiers just outside the village of Oradour-sur-Glane. After seeing his friend's fate, the village was destroyed on his orders. The atrocity was in retaliation for the partisan activity in nearby Tulle and the kidnapping and murder of SS commander Helmut Kämpfe, who was burned alive in a field ambulance with other German soldiers. However, on 29 June 1944, Diekmann was killed in action during the Battle of Normandy. Several soldiers of the 3rd Company that carried out the massacre were also killed in action. The SS dropped all charges. Kämpfe was the highest-ranking officer ever to be captured by the resistance, and his execution was considered to be a major event. After his death, he was posthumously promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, Obersturmbannführer. Helmut Kämpfe is buried on the German Military Cemetery at Berneuil, France. 642 men, women, and children were killed in Oradour-sur-Glane by Waffen-SS Company. President Charles de Gaulle ordered that the ruins of the old Oradour-sur-Glane village be maintained as a permanent memorial and museum.